Hey, thanks for checking this out. I'm going to talk to you right now about why I decided to go ahead and jump into ordering a Tesla CyberTruck. So, most everybody on the internet at this point has already seen everything from the Thursday night unveiling to all the press hype on Friday, Saturday, even Sunday. I was still seeing stories about it. Today, it's been several stories popping up about it. So, what I want to talk about is why I've decided that I am going to get in line and wait to see if I can get one of these new vehicles. So, right now, I am in Southwest Oklahoma, and since 1999, I've been driving a 2000 model Toyota Tundra. First year that they came out with that truck, and it has been a wonderful truck. Got every bit of life out of it I almost can at this point. A few weeks ago, I passed 362,000 miles on this thing. For the last 18, 19 years, all I have done is your basic service stuff. Oil changes, air filters, just the basic wear and tear type of maintenance items. So, over the last year and a half to 2 years, it is really starting to show its age more. So, I'm replacing more often more wearable items. So things are just starting to fall apart on my truck. And it is getting to where I'm spending more every 6 to 8 months than I used to spend in like 5 to 6 years on replacing worn out parts. So I've been thinking for quite a while now that I wanted to go in the direction of the electric vehicles. Earlier in the year, about all that was available was Tesla Model S, X, and then the 3. And for what I usually do and what I'm used to having a truck, being a little bit higher up above everybody, not having to drop down into a vehicle when I get into it, but step up into it. That makes a big difference, in my opinion, and the way I like to go about my day to day routine. So I'm used to a truck. That's what I want to get. So when Tesla announced in the summer that they were going to unveil their truck, I was just boop, put the brakes on. I'm going to wait and see how this turns out. Waited. Had to replace more parts on my truck, get some more maintenance work done on it, and I almost jumped in and went with this Model 3. Now, the only way I would get a car is if I was going to get something that was more high performance. I would get more out of it knowing that it could do things that my truck just can't, other than hold everything in a nice small area. So, what I had been considering was wanting to go with a performance Model 3 in red, go with my Tundra that I currently have. I like that black and white interior option that they have, and I am going to get autopilot. So any vehicle, I want to try it. I want to see how it does. So at this current time, that was a $66,990 vehicle. Then Thursday happened. Tesla unveils the Cybertruck. It is a crazy looking machine, but the price is right. So for 300 miles of range and a 0-60 in 4.5 seconds, way faster than I really do need, but having all the specs that are in it at the dual motor model, 49.9 plus self-driving. I mean, think about it. That's a right at $57,000 vehicle. That is about $10,000 cheaper than the Tundra that I was looking at replacing my current Tundra with, and more features, more modern features, I should say. So, what has really sold me on this vehicle is actually the vault area. So, I love the design. It's crazy, looks so weird the first time you see it. You get used to it, you really do. But the way that they did this bed area, so having a closed bed that rolls up, you're not having to add a tonneau cover, however you say that nonsense. You're not having to put a cover on it, take it off whenever you want to get into it. You can just hit a button and it stores itself behind the cabin area. Having a pull-out ramp made into the tailgate. That is just made. When they loaded the ATV, I was sold. Seeing the features that it could do right then, that's what did it for me. So the look, I can totally get used to that. I've always been one of the more weird people that I know, so nobody would be surprised seeing me drive around in this thing, honestly. But the specs just knocked it out, clinched the deal. Having that vault area, having the front storage much bigger than what is available in the car, having rear storage, stuff under the bed, sides of the bed, having lights inside the bed, such little details that really make a big difference in the long run of owning a vehicle. So they really did it right on this machine, I believe. We'll see once we get closer to the release date. Right now, I usually average about 180 to 260, 280 miles every week, depending on how many times I have to drive to Lawton and back. About 45-mile away town that you have to go to at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. Now, currently, I'm spending quite a bit in gas. Average about $60 a week on gas. Older vehicle, it is not the best at miles per gallon. So I do believe that the long-term ownership of an electric vehicle will be significantly reduced from what I'm paying right now for my gas truck. And I think that with the 300-mile range that they're touting on this model right here, the dual motor 300 plus, that's going to get me what I need to, even if I only charged one full 100% charge a week. That's impressive. And I think I can get everything done that I need doing in 1 week, running around town, drive to Lawton and back twice on one charge. That's impressive. So we're going to give it a try. Now, obvious downside is they're not expected to start production until late 2021. Seeing that I waited until Sunday evening to put my order in, I'm probably quite a ways down on the initial build reservation list. So it could be mid 2022, even later, depending on how quickly they can ramp up production on this vehicle. But it could be 2.5 to maybe 3 years even before I can take delivery of this. So my idea now is I put the deposit down. I'm in line. I've got my spot locked in. I've locked in the autopilot price. So if they release new features over the next 2 years, I should be locked in at the $7,000 price, and I don't have to worry about future price increases. Now my main goal now is to make my truck last until this one is released, and also working hard enough on multiple side income jobs, side hustles as you say, between now and then to increase my extra income by at least my goal right now is $1,000 more a month. I'm in about the $300 to $400 on average, sometimes more, sometimes less, but say I'm averaging about $300-400. So I'm about halfway to where I would like to be. But having put $100 down, I am mentally more committed to it now. So now I have a financial motivation to push myself harder and make me hit my goals of $1,000 extra per month. Once I hit that, then I can raise my goal, go for the next level. So that's kind of how I'm approaching the next 2 years. I've already committed to owning this truck, and I think that by the time it is going to be actually available, I will have everything set up as long as my Tundra can stay on the road and not fall apart too many times between now and then. I should be set. Now, I've got a backup plan if the worst happens and my truck just falls apart to the point where it would cost more to keep it running for a few years than I would normally pay, to just step into a new vehicle. If I reach that point, I will talk to Tesla, see if I can transfer my deposit on the truck over to a Model 3, go ahead and get the car in the interim, and then decide if Tesla actually accomplishes their goals of having the robotaxi network out. I could try to just rent out the Model 3 and drive the truck, or sell the Model 3, then take over the truck. I've got a few options depending on how the next 2 years play out, but ideally I can make the Tundra last 2 to 3 years without doing any kind of crazy, super expensive maintenance. I'm going to keep up with everything I've been doing to it now, and hopefully it will get through and make it to where I can take possession of this truck and just have that for an old beater around the farm. I don't really go out to the farm much, but my dad's getting older, so I might get to take over the farm sometime in the next few years, depending on how everything plays out with him. So he's getting older, but he just keeps on running. My dad's so awesome. So, okay, so back to the other options. Over the weekend, Elon tweeted out several things that were going to be available by the time this truck is produced. So he mentioned the matte black. I would most likely go that route unless they came out with some kind of a flame red color that would still work with the stainless steel construction of it. So I don't know if they can do like a matte red, or we'll see how that plays out. If anything, there was at least going to be a black. That's the one I would go with, unless there's some kind of a red option, or I'll just get it wrapped. And then he also mentioned the options for solar. So being able to put solar panels on the roof and wings that can fold out and charge up to maybe 30 miles in a day, that gets charge from solar as my truck can sit at work for the miles that I would usually drive it around town running all of my daily errands. That is amazing. And that is one of the options that I'm for sure going to try and include when it becomes time for me to do the final configuration. We'll have to see what else is going to be available by then. I can't say I really would use the quad, so probably going to pass on that one. It's really cool, but not something that I would have an actual need for. Solar, and we'll see what else becomes available. I've got a few ideas, but we'll see what they actually offer. Another thing that I will mention, got a little crazy with the rolly chair there. So another thing is this adaptive air suspension that they're talking about. So in my head, when I drive around here, we have these drainage ditches that come together. They form more of a V that you have to drive through. Donk, donk, donk. I get through it okay on my truck, but I've seen many cars, they skid going down into it and they skid going back up out of it. And what I would love to see is using the front autopilot cameras that come in the car. As it's driving along, it's reading the road and seeing that there is a dip coming up. Hey, if you're driving too low, it'll automatically raise up, give you enough clearance so you can go through those dips without worrying about scraping anything. And then as it sees you're into a clear area, it can just lower itself back down so you can get maximum range. That is what, in my head, I want to see that as a function of the truck, not an option, but something that the truck will just do on its own. We'll have to see. I guess you can always, push buttons on the screen and lift it, lower it as you need to, but being able to use the cameras that would come on the truck standard to read the road and make automatic height adjustments based on the terrain you're about to drive through, that is something that I really want to see. Who knows if that's going to happen, but personally that's what I want. And I think that about covers it. So I'm already in line. I thought about it on Friday as I was talking to everybody at work. Told them all about how crazy that unveiling was. And even though a lot of people have said it's not the best, it gave me the attention that I wanted to see. I got to see some of the features that I was most curious about, and I got to hear all the specs that I really wanted to know about as a future buyer. So thought about it Friday. Saturday, I decided if I can still feel the same way by Sunday, I'm going to go ahead and put down my $100 deposit, excuse me, and put my name in line. Hopefully, now that I've done that, everything can play out over the next few years and will make the Tundra last, and I will hopefully be one of the first people in Oklahoma to have the new CyberTruck. I'm pretty sure I'll probably be the first person in Altus to have this, but I don't know. I haven't found too many Tesla fans in Altus that have actually deposited money on something. I know there's a few cars. I've seen one S and about 3 Model 3s. It's only in town about 35,000. And from what I've been able to tell, almost all of the Teslas that I've seen in town have come from people in the Air Force. And I think most of them, initially came from larger cities and are just stationed here temporarily. So I might be one of the few ones in this town that is really looking forward to the technology. The self-driving technology is something I am very, very interested to try out. Like saying drive to Lawton. It is an almost 45-mile drive of near complete straight road. So over the past about year and a half now, I get about halfway there and I start to nod off, drive over, hit the bumps. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? You know what I'm talking about. So used to just happen in the afternoons driving back home, get a little ways and just start feeling kind of down. I hit the bumps and okay, I'm good. But then about 20 seconds later, it's just so boring that you know what I'm talking about when this is happening to you constantly. So now what I've noticed is a problem is I've been working so hard the last few months, I'm starting to fall asleep on the drive over. So before I even run errands and get tired and have to drive back, it's so boring now driving over there that I'm about 10 miles out of town and it's doze off, drift back on. I mean, it's getting honestly scary. So I think that autopilot is really designed for situations just like that, where you're doing your best to pay attention, but sometimes your body just doesn't want to continue driving. So right now I depend on the side of the road. If those bumps weren't there, I wouldn't be here talking to you right now. But I believe that with the autopilot technology on the highway, it will stay in its lane, tell it what speed it needs to go to. If it needs to pass somebody, I'm not going to have to take over and drive. If I fall asleep, I'm sure as soon as my hands fall off, it should beep and wake me up. I'm usually not a heavy sleeper on the road, and I don't really say I sleep. My eyes close and then I jerk myself back awake. But it's getting to where that happens way, way, way too often. So, autopilot. I'm on it. I'm a fan. I want to try it. I want to own it. And Tesla's going to be the only way to have it, I think, in the next few years. So, anyways, thanks for checking out my video of why I decided that I would go ahead and buy the Tesla CyberTruck. I'm hoping that my Tundra will make it until it comes in. As any new updates come along in the ordering process, this is my first Tesla, so I know nothing about this. I put my deposit in, made my account, and it shows Chad's Tesla CyberTruck reservation number. I'm in line, but I don't have anything to compare it against. So as opposed to most of these other videos out there of people that have had Teslas and it's like their 5th or their 18th freaking Tesla, this is my first one, and I will show more video of the whole process from beginning to end. If anybody is interested in that, leave a comment letting me know that you would like to see if there's any problems that come up during this order process, or if things go smoother than expected. Anything you might want to know about the order process, I'd be glad to I would be more than glad and happy, actually, to answer those questions for you. So go ahead, drop it down below. Let me know if you have anything you'd want to know, and let me know if you agree with my reasoning or not. And thanks for checking out this video, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye. Alright, so just so you can see, I am going to jump myself back up larger because I don't want to give away any actual personal information. So, like I was saying, for what I need to do, tri-motor sounds awesome, would love to have it. I can't justify it for myself right now. Dual motor, 300 mile range, that should get the majority of the trips that I have been watching the actual mileage on for the past 6 months, planning on getting a Model 3 if I didn't like how the truck turned out. So I'm a fan. I'm going to try to make my Tundra last and see if I can wait for these to be shipped. So dual motor, it'll give me the mileage that I need, plenty fast, hauls more than I will probably need. So spec enough that I will be very happy with this machine, I believe. Self-driving, I believe in this. I go with the full self-driving option. So I'm going to start filling in my information right now, and we'll see how this turns out. So that is my name, that is my last name, that is my email. Getting excited and can't type properly. Guess we need to give them our phone number. Okay, so here we go. Alright, and as you can see up there, I am scrolling down. The scrolling is only available once you select order now. It gives you the input fields for your basic information, name, phone, email, and then your payment information. At this point it's down to place order. So let's see if we can't. Nope. I was gonna see if we could maybe scroll up far enough that you can see me hit the place order button. But I'm not gonna go that far. So, sorry, it's exciting for me. So, here we go. We're jumping in right now. Place order. Hope I did it. Ha! Ha! Alright guys, I'm in line. Let's make this happen.